Hello and welcome. Today we've got Jason Q and we'll be discussing McAfee. We'll be discussing August hot month and also the calendar of upcoming events. Now, just before we begin, you can subscribe to my Telegram channel and to nicholasveniamin.com for my free email updates. And if you're watching this for the first time on YouTube, I will leave the link below in the description for the full interview, unless, of course, Jason Q and I can agree to choose our words wisely due to the censorship on YouTube. Is that okay, Jason?
We'll try. I think we can this one. I think this one's good.
Okay, excellent. Jason, how are you? What's been happening?
Nothing really. Just same old, it seems, right? Just everything's coming into play.
So you were saying that McAfee could have been Q. Why?
It's, I wouldn't even say could have. I would lean more towards he is one of them. He's got to be. When he ran for president in the libertarian, because you had the Democrats, Republicans, and the libertarians. Well, he knew that he wasn't going to be in, right? So he's just like, he doesn't care. He wanted what was best for Americans, and he wanted Americans to wisen up, to get smart, to be more educated. And how he worded everything, it was just so ingenious. It's like, it was only 9 minutes long too. I'll send it to you, and then you can put it in the show notes and everything. But when you listen to him talk, and he even said that everything he did in code, that there was a reason that everything, it's almost like how President Trump does it now, how everything he does is cold, calculated. And he was even saying that, there would be times that I would just go up and say this, and then I'd walk off the podium and that meant something. And I'm just like, ooh, this guy could be real special here. And he's got to be real special, because when you find out who he worked for and how it all pertains to everything happening now, he's got to be a huge part of this. Huge. Him and Bill Binney both. Because, McAfee, he created the antivirus software for the computers. And what he did was, in an interview, because he was always on the run. They were always chasing after him, and the IRS, and, for legal, they're trying to just illegally seize everything of his, which the IRS is illegal, and he fought him. He's like, look, I know my constitutional rights. Well, he went down to Belize, and they sent a couple, black op crews down there, and they shot his dog. They trashed his whole place and everything like that. I'm like, number one, when you shoot the dog, you think John Wick instantly. It's like, ooh. But then you think on the cybersecurity side, you're like, this guy could do some real damage on the inside. Mm-hmm. So what he did is that, to show his great appreciation for the American government, he decided to donate a lot of computers that was infected with the spyware, with the malware and everything, so he can monitor everywhere it goes, everybody that touches it, everything. Well, this is when we have to take a step back and realize that there were some people in this earlier that were mentioned that were really big in it, but they just dropped off, like the Awans, right? Well, remember, they were given computers too. But what did they do with them? They took them back to Israel, because they were in the Talpy program. So what the Talpy program is that it's under Israel, and it's a 9-year program where the first 3 years are military. The second 3 years are all cybersecurity, how to hack and how to infiltrate, other computer systems, infiltrate the bridge. And then the last 3, you're taking the military and the computer side, and you're combining them. So you're like your own little I wouldn't say like, I mean, you're a well-rounded terrorist because you can literally do anything with the military training and the computer training. Usually just gonna have one. You have the computer training, and then that's about it. They don't know much about the whole military side. But if you start creating, people like that, it's like that get dangerous real quick. So with that being said, what they used to call him the Tony Stark of cybersecurity. And I'm like, wait a second. I'm like, it's Iron Man. But then when you think Iron Eagle, because remember Iron Eagle's in the drops, but it's like we never really, had that closure.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Mm-hmm.
an eagle, I mean, it's just like a falcon. They could see forever. They could see everything. It's like, what if he is Iron Eagle?
So
And he's
how,
perfect.
so how, what you're saying about what he's done with the antivirus on the computers, and also making sure it was implemented on all the computers, how do you think, how did it affect, what kind of results do you think he was looking for?
Well, it's not so much what he's looking for, but what he's finding. I mean, can you imagine going all the way back to when he donated them to find our government was anti American, anti humanity, and that they've been trying to kill us the entire time? And that also when you realize that they made deals with China, that's like screwed us, and all we've done is we're just wanting what's fair, you know.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
That's all there is.
So do you think that he's managed to um, access a lot of information from these computers that would help him send it to people who are appropriate to take down the bad guys?
Well, he had a dead man switch.
And what does that, when you say dead man
Now,
switch, what does that mean to you?
now what it is that now his dead man switch was different than any other dead man switch. His dead man switch, like when you're like a dead man switch, is if you have like high priority files and all that, and let's just say that it's a life insurance policy. Say somebody kills you, right? Well, since you can't check in, it just kicks it off the internet. Like he has 31 terabytes of information. 31 terabytes. That's a lot. That is a lot.
That
And
is a lot.
he's gonna drop everything. Can you imagine? Yeah, go ahead.
Can I just say,
Yeah.
all of my videos put together, it is just half a terabyte. And how many terabytes are you saying?
Oh man, 31.
31 terabytes. Not even one.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, carry on. Sorry to cut you off there.
But it's funny because when you look at how much a terabyte truly is, because this computer is a terabyte, and I mean I don't know how to check and see how much it's used, but I mean I know I haven't even dented it, and we have everything saved, but that's a lot of memory. But you're talking 31 terabytes, like.
So 31 terabytes of what? Videos, files, documents, pictures?
Everything. You're talking the, I mean, I should say man. Now with him, all he did is that he donated all the computers. He let them do the work for him. All he had to do was just go check, and all that. So what happened was here come the Awans, right? Well, they got computers too, right? Where did they go back to? They went back to Israel. So now you've got that computer in Israel. They started using it, right? Because it's hooked up to the Congress, right? So they can easily like see what they're doing in there, and see what laws are writing and everything, and kind of be the like like a big brother. Like he's monitoring everything you're doing, all the treason, because all he wants to do is because with big government and just like the Patriot Act, and they're stripping away all of our liberties. Well, if America falls, then the world falls. And we can't let that happen. And it's not so much just Americans, it's like humanity, humankind as we know it. It's like, I don't want to see anybody from anywhere, Paul. I mean, we're grabbing each other and we're going. We're in this for the long haul now. And it's that we've come to the realization that, I mean, it's way bigger than we realized, but so are we.
Mm-hmm.
And once we realize that we are actually all one and we're living like separate simulations, it really, really means a lot, because we've all been every race, male and female both. So, we've had the compassion within us. There's no need to, a lot of people they're worried about what's coming up and they're scared, but there's no need to be scared. This is about to be the biggest, man, it's going to be the biggest punked ever. It's like when you punk someone, it's like you trick them, like you got punked, you get punked.
I love that.
Yeah. And can you imagine this? And you're talking on a high level. So what we were doing was, remember when they were saying, you know what else? You know what I want to talk to you about? Is because we found this in the whole Federal Register. Have you seen the movie Step Brothers, Nicholas?
It rings a bell, but I haven't seen it. No.
Okay. Well, it's got Will Ferrell in it and all that, so you know how that goes. But so on Wednesday, December 23rd, 2020, right? There were all these drops in the Federal Register that were all inserted. Well, you know that they like to, poke fun and they like to take little jabs too. And they put one in here and I almost lost it when I saw it. So it was a maritime administration. It says requested administrative waiver of the coast-wise trade laws. The vessel Prestige Worldwide. It's a motor yacht. Invitation for public comments. And I'm like, okay, so just get this straight. A couple of years ago, they actually bombed Catalina Island off the coast of California. Now, they had a dump there, inside of it. But Catalina Island, that's where they had the Catalina wine mixer for Step Brothers at the end. And they started a company. It's called Prestige Worldwide. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's goofy as shit, but it's like, they even put it in the Federal Register. I'm like, it makes no sense. Not a bit, but it's like, why would they do that? But when they did this, it was December 23rd. Well, so where would that come into play, right? Here's why. Remember we were discussing calendars,
Okay.
And we're discussing the two calendars. So what we have here is, we have December of 2020, right? And we have Christmas lit up, right? As a Friday and Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, if you were to split the year in this and do it in half, you would have January through June, then you have July 1st to December 31st, right? So if you cut it in half, right? So then you move the July underneath January.
Okay.
And use them as like a 6-month calendar, but it's mirrored, symmetrical, right? So now, because you have to do with the 2020 and the 2021, because they are in perfect alignment. They're in sync, because December 2020, Friday and Saturday was Christmas and the day after Christmas. In June 25th is Friday, and the 26th is Saturday. So that means, remember, you have the winter solstice and the summer solstice. They're on the 21st. So they're on Monday. Now, also by them doing this, it makes us think about what happened at the other Christmas. The one on 1/6 and 1/7. Remember when they stormed the Capitol and everything?
Mm-hmm.
So that was on 1/6. Well, would you believe that? Because the 4th is on a Sunday, so the 5th is on a Monday. So that's the day that they observe it. They observe it because it falls on a Sunday, so they observe it on the following Monday. So that's the day that President Trump will be there, right? That's a D5. So when you have the 5th there, the next day is July 6th, and that's a Tuesday, and then Wednesday, July 7th.
Mm-hmm. So you're saying that the month of July. So if we was to cut the January, 1st of July and at the end of June, and then we take that 6 months, put it over like that, you got January and July.
Yes.
And then you've got at the end, you've got December and June.
Yes. Oh no, okay. Yes, December, June. Yes.
December, June. Now, if we think of this, December is, I believe, the shortest day of the year. And then I think on June the 25th or somewhere around there, it's the longest day of the year.
It's the 21st. Yeah, it's the 21st. Yeah, it's the solstice, summer solstice and winter solstice.
Yeah.
But now, yeah. And the funny thing is that so you have the 21, right? And then you have 25th for like a Christmas, right? Well, the day that splits it in half, you could say there's, you get like, okay, for 5 days, it's the 23rd, right? With Payne 23. What day did they find John McAfee, quote unquote, dead? It's the 23rd. It was June 23rd.
And what's that in the mirror calendar in the other 6 months?
It'd be December 23rd.
Right.
And it would be the day that they dropped everything in the Federal Register. Because what they dropped here, they dropped a lot. A lot. And we're just now printing them off and everything and getting them all in line. Because there's so much that to catch. There's so much information out there to just point out there, and you're just like, wow, it's amazing.
Mm-hmm,
because so many people are waking up and they're now finally just understanding that, get your kids out of school and just, we got to fight this. We got this. We got this win. And, I see some really big things happen for all of us.
We are definitely. Yeah. So what do you think is the real cause of McAfee's death?
Well, I don't think he's dead.
But what was the cause of it?
They said suicide, and that they left it at that. I'm like,
do you think it was a doorknob suicide?
Well, I don't think so because I think they just had somebody go in there and just off his body double because he said he had body doubles, but he said the only way that you could tell is from the lips, and I'm like, it's like, wait a second. This man knows a lot more than he's discussing, right? So the funny thing is that, so on that day, on the 23rd, what happened was his, because remember, if he doesn't check in to his kill switch, and he made it specifically for him where he has to check in twice a day, regardless. Well, it didn't check in. So the last time that there's because everything's based around his Ethereum wallet, and he had all these ages, of the last hash set, right? And what we did was, it was in a Time Traveler Anonymous posted it on Twitter. So when we started looking at it, it's like, man, it's a lot of numbers, the dates just look off.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, okay, it's just like, it's weird. Yeah. So when you start to realize, like when they say there was, like the last time that it was, like his Ethereum wallet was active and they had like 10 entries. And the first 2 entries were exactly the same day and same time. It was 351 days, 11 hours. So when we go to, go to DuckDuckGo or Google, and you go to a date calculator where you could switch days to years, and you could like see where if you have this day, like the 23rd, like June 23rd, and you want to go back 351 days, what day would you be? The funny thing is, Nick, is the first 2 entries, they both end up July 7th, 2020. And that's last year. And it's a Tuesday. And it is exactly 17 weeks until the election, to the day, because it was on Tuesdays, right? And remember, we did all the stack. We did from July 28th, but we had to go back and do the 7th because I noticed, like in a personal note, because sister's birthday is on the 7th, July 7th. Mine is on August 25th, which was on a Tuesday as well. And it was on the 10th week until the election. And my mom's and my nephew's were on October 27th. It was 1 week.
Right.
So you had 17, 10, 1. I'm like, no. So when you start seeing stuff like that, you're like, no, there's something here. So when you do see it, you're just like, remember, it was a map made throughout time. So you have to find the historical aspects of what happened on those days. And when you notice it, that they've literally gone back so far in time to just change everything. So we had the best outcome ever here.
Right.
And you're just like, you're blown away. You're like, these guys are brilliant. But then you realize that, well, they better be brilliant. Because when they say that, oh, these people are stupid and this and that, who could actually say something like that? And nobody like, like all chest puffed out, like, I can't believe they call stupid. Well, what if they were the high IQ societies? Now they have all of these top high IQ societies, and what it is that you have the like the top. I mean, you've got there's the mega society, and it's the top 1/10,000th of people
Okay.
are let in. And then you have the Giga Society, which is the top 0.1 millionth or billionth. So they got every billion people, there's one. It's like, that's pretty brilliant. That's smart people, right? And because I believe McAfee was in one as well. Because McAfee also, he worked for Booz Allen Hamilton back in 1980 and 82. Now, who else worked for Booz Allen Hamilton? Snowden and his grandfather, Edward Barrett, Admiral Edward Barrett, which would have been working there when McAfee was there.
Right.
Because Thad Allen from Booz Allen Hamilton, he was a flag officer for the Coast Guard. So he's an admiral. So because Rear Admiral Edward Barrett, which is Edward Snowden's grandfather, he actually he went to the CIA, he went to the NSA, and he went to all these different positions and got in, did the job, and came back. And what he did is he had little Ed Snowden, go in there and do the same thing. So he got him in the door at, Booz Allen Hamilton. He got him. It's like they know everything. And that's why they went to Russia, because they're the only ones with their own internet. They're the only ones that can actually do the changing of the banks and all the other banks, all the smaller banks of the smaller countries. Because if it's a shotgun start, how are they going to get it? They can't. You want to have their work done too. So,
right. So all of this is building up to something, and I want to discuss August hot month with you. What the hell is going on? There's so many things happening. Mike Lindell saying that Mr. T will be back, and some of us think it's optics, and then there's things about August the 15th, and then Trump says, I'm going to take everything back sooner than you think. What's going on? What do you think? This is exciting.
Yeah, it is. And what it is that August 15th, on August 15th, 1871, there was a letter written. It was written by Albert Pike of the Freemasons, and it was addressed to Giuseppe Mazzini. Giuseppe Mazzini is the one that created the mafia.
Yeah.
So what he did was he outlined all three world wars, right? And when he did this, you wouldn't think of anything like it's just a letter. How can why be so fanatical about it, right? Well, we wouldn't be so fanatical about it, but if you read it and then you look at what happened during the first two world wars, no, absolutely not. No, I just no.
So you're saying that it's exactly what happened in those wars was a reflection on what was written on August the 15th back then before the wars.
Yes.
Right.
The first two world wars, they even had the countries down. Which countries were going to move where, which country was going to get communism. And World War III was to be between political Zionism and, this place. Like, wow. I mean, it's that insane. But there was a specific university in London that actually hung this letter up. Right? But starting out in 1978, it was taken down. The letter. It was in a university, London University, and everybody could read it. Right. Well, they had to take it down because if they would have went up there and started looking at this letter, saying, "Hey, it's like, no, the symbolism. The symbols are all there." So when we look at all the symbolism with that, there's so much that when you start looking at the symbols, the numbers, and write it down. You'll see some numbers, and you could look up on numerology, online. You go Scribed. They have a lot of things over there. But once you start adding these numbers up, and you notice that they stick with a good, they stick with the 1111. You've automatically got the 13. You got the sevens, all the multiple sevens. You've got just it. It's an insane amount.
So what do you think? How does that reflect this August when you say August hot month this year of 2021? What do you think is going to happen?
Okay. Well, now it was August 15th, correct?
Right.
Now, on August 15th, 1971, right? It'll be 50 years back from that day, but also on the 100th anniversary, Richard Nixon signed into law that America will not be going back on the gold, the gold standard.
It's like,
well, They already did that back in 33. It's like, why would they do it now? Especially on the same exact day of the 100-year anniversary. It's like, wow. I mean, that's just savage in itself. But then this year, it's the 150th anniversary. So it's like the 15th, everything's lining up. 150th anniversary, August 15th. I mean, it's all there.
So are you saying that we could be going back on the gold standard on the August the 15th? That could be a possibility.
Oh, yeah.
Because if we look at today's 2021, we had 20 years or 70, 80, 90. That's 90 years.
What's that?
No.
9 years?
Sorry.
Okay.
Sorry, I've added it the other way around.
Oh, you mean from 33? No, I know. You mean from 1933. Yeah, and that's the thing. It's
50 years, sorry.
Yeah. No, 50 years from 71. And because President Trump actually became friends with President Nixon after he left office. Because remember, they said he left disgraced and all that. It's because he really he knew what was going on there. And he couldn't stomach it anymore. That's the sad part. It's like, these people, they put them in bad positions, and yeah, it's.
So do you think that's the highlight of the month and on the 15th of August? August, yeah.
Well, highlight? There could be a lot more, because remember they said nature can be unpredictable, right? Now, if you've noticed outside at night, you notice anything funny about the moon and the solar simulator and all that? It's a lot lower, right?
Right.
I mean, it's massive. Well, remember how are we going to break the net, like the Matrix? I mean, how are we going to break free from us, from our slave masters? Well, if we're ascending and nobody gets left behind or anything, they're moving the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
They're moving the whole spaceship Earth up. So when they move up, you don't have to worry about the water moving or anything, because you're moving it constantly upward. So when it's going up in an upward motion, it can't splash around and, like on a spinning ball, it's like the water just flies right off. It's like they're just nice and easy, calculated, bring it up, break the net, and then that's when we get Starlink.
Interesting.
So
you reckon that there might be revaluations? Maybe there might be an activation of Starlink, QFS, maybe Trump, Mr. T's return. Is that what you're saying? Are we expecting those kind of movements?
I think President Trump is going to come back earlier than the 15th of August. I just have a gut feeling.
I hope you're right. I really do.
I just have a gut feeling about that, because there's quite a few people that have emailed me and shown me. They've gotten statements from their bank that all of their balance is zero, all their loans and everything, effective August 1st.
Right.
And I'm like,
when do you think we will stop paying income tax to the Federal Reserve?
Well, the Federal Reserve's already gone. They locked it up and everything, and that's President Trump owns the Federal Reserve because he's like looking for the. They want to get rid of it. Yeah, they want to split it into 1,000 pieces. Same thing. CIA, Federal Reserve, all of it, because it's all part of the big, the octopus is pretty much what it is, because all the tentacles and everything, how it stretches out.
If anyone has an Alexa at home, ask Alexa, does Donald Trump own the Federal Reserve Bank? And just wait for that answer.
Yeah. It's going to be good. But and then after that, you might want to unplug it and like put it away somewhere, because those are going to be they'll spy on you. But who's going to spy on them? And it's like, well, we'll see. And it's when we looked at everything having to do with like the calendar, right? Now, Nixon was a good guy, but he's just bad politics and bad all this stuff. It's like, when you're surrounded by evil, it's hard to be good.
Mhm.
You know, you're talking about some of the most evil and soulless people here, and that's what they were doing. They were having fun with it, and it's just, I don't know.
Okay.
It's
So
spread thin.
So you think some big stuff will be happening? Maybe the Federal Reserve, taxes and will be abolished, or maybe something like that, or the gold and silver. What do you think about that?
Oh yeah, it's gonna silver's gonna skyrocket because of how low it is, and it's gonna jump to what, about $500-600 an ounce, I believe, by next year.
On the U.S. national debt clock, it shows that it's around $4,000. Silver to the gold, to the dollar ratio. So are you saying? So do you think that that is an accurate figure? Because it has been massively suppressed by J.P. Morgan.
Yeah. The gold, especially the gold, when Elon Musk put that 1.5 billion in Bitcoin, and they turned around and put 1.5 billion into the book. Well, he put it in gold and into Bitcoin, and you saw what Bitcoin did, right? Shot up. Gold stayed the same. It's like, one would think that, like, injecting 1.5 billion into gold, that's a lot of money. I mean, that's just shot up. It could have went up about 1,000, or even 500. It could have went up $10, and I would have been happy. But it didn't even budge. It's just like stayed like constant. I'm like, what are you guys doing with all this?
So gold and
Okay.
Bitcoin are not connected at all.
Don't believe so, no. Because Bitcoin, once that's out in the open about what they truly are, and yeah, they don't need to be around anymore. Not at all.
Right. Well, Jason, it was absolutely wonderful having you on today. It's been good as always.
Always a pleasure, sir.
Is there anything that you'd like to say to the listeners before we finish?
Well, remember, it'll be next Tuesday. Next Tuesday, guys. That's Christmas Eve. So remember, on 1/6, when they're doing all that, everything at the Capitol, watch what happens that day. Because it's the Tuesday, and you start doing the math behind it, it's like, well, 7/6, 7/7. It's like, that's still a 13 and a 14. And it's like, when you start understanding the numbers and what a lot of it means and how they're just trolling them with it, it's utter bliss. But remember, we've won this, and nobody's partying without us. We're all going at once. Mm-hmm. So those that say, oh, well, they're going now, it's like, no, they can't.
Yeah,
shotgun start. And RV has to go first anyway. So
okay.
Yeah.
Well, Jason, thank you very much, and we'll speak again very soon. God bless you.
Thank you very much, sir. God bless you.
Bye-bye.